Don't go away. Today on Doggy Dilemmas, you're going to meet a dog named Rebel who's living up to his name.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I'm Denise Mazzola. Today you're going to meet Stephanie, Adam, and their dog Rebel, a 1-year-old pit bull terrier who is presenting with fearfulness around certain objects and most particularly and worrisome around people. They've traveled all the way from upstate New York today, so let's get started and see what we can do for Rebel. Okay, so Stephanie and Adam, welcome. How long was your drive this morning?
Oh, it was about a 4-hour drive.
4-hour drive, wow. Okay, so we've had a couple of phone conversations and lots of emails, but let's go over the issues today because things might have changed since our last conversation. One of the issues was house training, and that seems to be all set
It has
now.
improved a lot, yes.
Okay. Any accidents still happening in the house?
Nope.
No?
No.
Okay. And you've identified his signal, which is kind of interesting. He paces in front of the bedroom door?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Strange, but yes.
Okay, good. So let's just catch up. And the dog is Rebel, and he's 1 at this point?
Yep.
Okay. And what kind of mix is he?
He's a pit bull mix.
Okay. And he's neutered?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just sort of review the history, and we're not going to bring Rebel in until we get some of this history because he's very nervous around people.
Yes,
and this setting will be very stressful to him, so I want to minimize that. So let's just start from the beginning and tell me again where you got the dog from, how old was he, we'll go forward.
I had heard from a friend that he was a dog that was being abused.
Okay.
My friend was going to be taking the dog, but had second thoughts, so I decided to take him.
Okay.
When I took him, he was 4 months old.
Okay. And are we sure that he was abused, or was he just being neglected and not getting a lot of attention?
I'm not sure if he was abused.
Okay.
I know that he was neglected. He was left alone a lot, not taken out.
Okay. 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 And then everything seemed fine at 4 months. He was happy to see people.
Yeah.
No issues that worried you at that point?
No.
Okay. And I think it was about 6 months, you said, that things started to change?
Yes.
Okay. So do you remember what happened at 6 months?
He started becoming afraid of people.
Okay.
He'd back away barking.
Okay.
If someone would approach him and try to pet him or to talk to him, he'd back up barking like he was afraid.
Okay. Was this on leash as well as, was there a difference if he was leashed or not leashed?
It was on leash.
Okay. So if you were out walking him and somebody wanted to pat him or say hello?
I haven't had too many people approach him.
Okay.
In that scenario, but I would say it's more on leash.
Okay. And what about in the house?
In the house, we haven't had too many people over.
Okay. Is that just the way you guys live, or has he dictated that because you're worried about it?
He's dictated part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it's telling when people have a behavior change because their dog is displaying some worrisome behavior. Yeah. So, okay. So normally you'd have people over. Would you have friends over or
we have
parties
really busy lives, so we usually don't have a lot of people over in general, but there would have been people that would have came over, yes.
Okay. Okay. So at 6 months of age, he started to back up and bark at people when he was out on a leash.
Yes.
And then what does he do when someone comes in the house?
He'll bark.
And stand there? Will he back up? Will he run away?
He'll bark and back up.
Okay. So the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And what have you tried anything? What have you tried? Does anything make it better or worse?
I've tried to get him to sit. He knows the command sit, and I've tried to get his focus, but he doesn't seem to focus on me. He seems like he's in a trance.
Okay. All right. Interesting. An interesting choice of words. Okay. So he's in a trance when there's new people in the house.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I can't break his train of thought and
Okay.
get his focus back.
Okay. Okay. What else? Anything else you've tried or noticed?
No.
Okay. And he was, let me just go back, he was neutered at what age?
Between 4 and 5 months.
Okay. And did you notice any difference after that? Like after he came back from the vets?
No.
Okay. Okay. So what, if you were going to have people over to the house now, what would you do with Rebel?
I would probably either have to have him on a leash,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
so I had control of him, put him in a bedroom or put him outside.
Okay. And what happens, like inside you, when either you think about having people come over, or if you were walking him and someone would approach you?
It makes me nervous.
Okay.
He's never been before, but just because I don't know,
Okay.
and I'm afraid to be in that situation with
Right.
him.
Right. And his
So.
breed, it makes it
Yes.
even more challenging. And
Absolutely.
there's a lot of, I can't think of the word. There's a lot of prejudice against
Yes,
pitties,
very much
and any
so.
dog that even looks
Yeah.
that way. So that's not in his favor. So Adam, how do you feel when if you're walking? Do you have occasion to walk Rebel, and when people are approaching?
I try and make him sit, and then
Okay.
I get a closer grip on the leash, just in case, because
Right.
I really don't want to cause he's gonna jump at him or something. you
Right.
know.
Right. Okay.
So
when there's no simple answer to this problem. Being a dog that's afraid of people is one of the most challenging behavioral issues to try to change. And it's going to take time. Unlike other TV shows, there's no quick fix. I don't use adversives, I don't use chokers, I don't use prong collars. We're not going to shock them, we're not going to do anything like that. So the work will be on your part, unless we decide he's a candidate to live with me, and then I would do some of the training. So that's one thing. There's no quick fixes, and there's going to be lots of pieces to, I guess, the pie or the puzzle that we're going to need to work out with Rebel and see which might help. Now, this may sound silly, but his name you may want to consider changing his name. And I know before we went on air, Duke was joking about calling him Pumpkin. But something more fun and friendly can be helpful. And Dr. Patricia McConnell, did I send you the book, The Cautious Canine?
You did,
Okay.
yes.
So I don't know if she mentions it in there, but I've been to her seminars, and one of the things she does suggest is people change their dog's name if they're having issues and he has like a kind of a tough guy name. So think about that. I'm also going to suggest something that's called a thunder shirt. And what a thunder shirt does, they're new to me. I've not used them yet, but I've got an order on. So when I get that in, I'll send you one. It is a tight wrap around the dog and around his chest. And autistic children and people like to be compressed. And dogs that are anxious like to be compressed as well. So it's this steady, constant pressure. And I just taught a class last week, and one of the women says, "Oh, my dog's very nervous, and when I put the thunder shirt on, she falls asleep in 5 minutes."
Oh, wow.
So it's not going to be the cure-all, but we need to do something to reduce his anxiety. And you had also described him as a big scaredy cat.
Yes.
That when something fell, he literally all 4 feet came off and he landed on your lap. And you were also concerned about when he comes in with the cameras, you feel like he's going to be so afraid he's going to pee all the way in or on the floor. So that's a huge fear response. I mean, to eliminate, is very, very serious. We'll see whether he'll eat, whether we're going to do this here, or whether we're going to have to go outside in the snow. But so change his name. We're going to try a thunder shirt. I'm going to ask you to journal just about everything that happens. If you notice any slight difference, you know, and the behavior change is going to be from scaredy cat to, ooh, party animal, right? It's not going to be that drastic, but you might see his tail carriage different. You might see him not react so much when a noise happens or something falls. So they're going to be subtle changes. It's very telling when someone changes their behavior. So I don't know if it's drastic or not, but when you don't have people over because you're afraid of what he might do, that's a very telling response. The other thing that I'm not exactly sure how we're going to work on, because there's a distance involved with us, is that I need you to relax more. It doesn't sound like Adam gets quite as nervous, but there is, when I'm working with dogs, I like to have the leash just a little tight sometimes. And even if it's not, if the dog growls but I can't hear him because he's 6 or 8 feet away, I can usually feel that vibration come up the leash. So it's the same thing. If you're kind of nervous and having some anxiety yourself, then that will transform down the leash. So then you've got a nervous dog who now feels your nervousness, and he's like, holy crap, what's happening here? It's fight or flight. And I like that he's backing up. That's way better than moving forward. If he's going to go, whoa, 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 and back up, back up, back up, again, he's going to flee. So let's let him flee. Let's let him have some space. The biggest job that you guys are going to have, now he's not a golden retriever, and he's probably not going to elicit a lot of people wanting to come towards him. Like, you know, some of those more traditional Goldens, Labs. I've worked with very fearful dogs, and people want to approach those dogs. So in Rebel's case, maybe just his breed will keep people a little bit at a distance. But part of your job is going to be to keep him safe and to keep that scary thing away from him, which is people at this point. That's our primary issue. So that he's not over threshold and he doesn't need to act on his fear. Okay. So he's also 1, and I want to address his age because that's very, as a 1-year-old dog, he's an adolescent. Adolescents can start at 8 to 9 months of age. He's not fully socially mature, which would happen around 2, give or take. You know, I mean, there's not like second birthday stuff starts to happen. But my concern is he's displaying anxiety, he's displaying fear, he's backing up, he's warning with the bark. And I want to make sure that all those things are honored in him so that he doesn't feel like he needs to go to the next level, which would be bark, move forward, and ultimately bite somebody to say, get away from me, get away from me. Now, the other thing I just want to talk to you about is 2 things. How dogs learn, and very basic, the function of their brain. So a dog that's anxious and nervous, like Rebel is living in what I call the back of his brain, in his brain stem. He's in lizard brain, he's in doggy world way too much. He's just reacting, reacting, reacting. And we need to jumpstart his frontal cortex, the front of his brain, so that he can be more operant. So he can be, oh, I have choices. I can elicit responses from people. He can have some control over his environment. And as long as he's food motivated, because that's the easiest way to do training, we need to wake him up with really getting a good sit, a good down. I'd like to teach him to touch, and that's some of the stuff that we'll try to do today. Whether we do it, you know, inside or out, we'll have to see. But so that he can touch your hand, learn to touch other people's hands. It would be his choice, but then that would elicit something, some high value thing for him, so that he'll want to work on that. If whatever kind of tricks we can teach him will give him a way to interact. If you want to have people over, you can say, hey, you know what? You can just ask him to do some tricks, and people can do that instead of reaching over and patting him. Most dogs don't like this. You know, and we all sort of do this to the dogs, and the dog starts ducking. And, you know, if you did it to each other, or if I stood up and tried to do that too, you'd be like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, one, why are you entering my space like that? And what's, you know, why are you putting your hand over, you know, you just don't do it. But it's the way we as humans just tend to interact with dogs. So having him learn to touch hands will help to change that association. And again, my goal wouldn't be that people just come up and touch him and love him all over. We'll have to see how that works. The other piece that might work for Rebel, and I'll know a little bit more when we see him, is pharmacology. So he might be a good candidate for a medication. which would reduce his anxiety. And that has to go through your vet. So Rebel may be a good candidate for that. And that could be lifelong. It could be just while you go through the training. If his state of anxiety is so high, there's no learning taking place. He's just worried, anxious all the time. So those are all the different pieces that we need to look at. And your primary goal is going to be the training to wake up his brain as much as possible. Do you guys have any questions?
Nope, not yet.
So tell me, just before we bring him in, we're quite sure he's going to be worried about the cameras. The vacuum cleaner, though, you said he sort of attacked and he likes to chase?
Yeah, he'll get in front of the vacuum cleaner and go back and forth, barking at it as I push it. Okay.
So his tail's not tucked, he's not running away from it, it sounds like it brings out a little more prey drive.
Yes.
Okay. What about anything else, any other objects that he's afraid of? Or is it sounds that he's afraid of? What was it?
He's afraid of the cat toys. Very afraid of the cat toys.
Like backs away and tucks his tail afraid?
Oh, yeah.
Really? And what are they? What kind of cat toys are we talking about?
The cat toys that have like a long rod and like maybe a fluffy tail thing on the end. He's terrified of them.
But not any little balls or jingly things? Those things are okay?
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever picked one of those? If you pick up one of those cat toys, what does he do?
Oh, he'll back right away with his tail between his legs. Okay. His ears go back.
Hide behind me, probably.
Okay.
He'll hide behind whoever doesn't have it.
Okay. Okay. So that could be an indication of being hit with something. Have you ever, does he mind belts? Like if you take your belt off, does he have a problem with that? Sometimes when people take their belt off, dogs will hit the deck if they've been hit with belts.
I don't think he does, not that I've seen.
If you put your hands up, or if you put it up high, does he do any response?
No.
Okay. So it's just a guess. I don't have any cat toys here, and I don't want to stress him out anymore. But it's kind of an interesting thing that the long rod is eliciting that fear response where nothing else does.
Yeah, and when I pick up the broom, I've noticed too to sweep. He has a similar reaction.
Okay. Anything else?
In the car, he will bark at people.
Okay.
But the bark that he has sounds more aggressive than when he's on the leash.
Okay. So he sounds worse in the car?
Yes.
Okay. That's not a surprise. He's trapped in the car.
Right.
And so if you're trapped and the scary thing's coming close to you, then that's a little more threatening. How about, have you noticed if you change your furniture arrangement, or if you bring in, like if you move a chair, or if you bring something into the house, does he have any kind of response to that?
I don't think so. When you carry something, when you actually carry something in, he'll back away. He'll shy away like he's afraid.
Okay. But if you put it down?
He'll go check it out and be very nervous around it. But then he'll be, once he realizes it's nothing that's going to hurt him, he's okay with it.
Okay, so if he touches it and smells it, then he's fine.
Once he sniffs it and finds out that it's nothing that's going to hurt him, he's okay.
Okay. And have you had occasion to move any furniture in the house? If you move a chair, does he care?
No.
He doesn't care?
No.
Okay. So, and the reason I ask is some dogs have what's called sudden environmental contrast. And what it means is if the picture changes for them, like a chair is suddenly someplace different, some dogs cannot adjust to that, and they'll bark and carry on. Hey. Stephanie, close the gate just so that he doesn't get off.
There you go. You want us to just drop the leash, or?
Yep, if he'll follow you in. Good. And then just close the glass. Let him make some choices. That's all right.
Oh, not on the couch. No.
That's right. That's all right. Just let him make choices. He's not the first dog to get on the couch.
I just don't want him to pee on it.
It's in the bag, huh?
So I'm not making eye contact with him. Sit. And I'm using big pieces of liverwurst. And he is a scaredy cat because he hasn't investigated the rest of the house. He just so sit up here with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll be right against you.
So always has to touch one of you pretty much? So
Yeah.
Yes. And if anything startles him in the house, he will find one of us to go hide behind.
Okay. All right.
Or sit on our
So
feet.
you're sort of his anchor, in other words.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to react to anything, you know, any startles or anything that he does. So is that a bark? Is that a bark of the collar?
Okay. You're okay.
Okay, so, that's all right, you can go. So, what I'm going to have you guys do is just, what's he looking at? Or is it the fact that, we're going to slide it over his head and then the leash will catch here.
Okay, you slide it over.
Come here.
No.
Maybe is it too tight?
Yeah, that's it.
Go.
That's
What are you barking at?
Come here. Rubble. No. Nope. Still.
What?
So even if it's tight sliding over his head, which is all right because it means he's got the wide head and then it narrows down on his waist. So come over again, see if he'll. Home base.
Come here.
So, yes, do that. There you go.
Yeah, definitely needs to be tightened.
You want to slide it off again and do it again?
Or is that how it's supposed to be like that, or is it?
Yep, that's right. I mean, we can attach his leash to the piece. It's all right. I just want to.
Want that pen?
So I'm just going to observe his body language. His tail is low. It's low. His ears are back. He has what I describe wind blown. A wind blown where everything is back. So can you tell what he's? I don't want to look at him.
Yeah, he's barking at you. At the same time, he's like avoiding. Now he's barking at me.
Will you
He's
talk?
looking at me and then he'll bark and he'll look.
Okay. I'm asking Duke because I can't sit here this close to him and look at him to figure out what he's looking at. Because if he's looking at me and then I make eye contact, I don't want to push him over the edge. So lots of conflict happening, right? I mean, because he seems to switch from okay, you're feeding me liverwurst to uh-oh, you moved, you put something in your hand, you're waving around a collar, I don't, bark, 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 bark. And his eyes are dilated like crazy. Like you can't even see the color in them. They're so dilated. So he's like way in lizard brain. Like he's not really with us.
Yeah.
I can't get him to sit. He's investigating nicely. So the ears back and all of that, the open mouth, even though he's growling, is all fear. Okay, just so you know, if he gets what we call the C mouth, where it looks like a C, and you really just see this his very pointy teeth, that's much more threatening than when the whole mouth is open. So just a little body language. And this running back to you guys, his confidence needs to come up, way up, so that he can not go off and bite somebody confidently, so that he can maybe come back and sit, or there's no default behaviors for him to do. So he's just running away. Which is all right. Like I said, we'd rather him run away than move forward. So we'll let him sniff a little bit. And then what I want to, and see how that, the stretching, oh my God, I can't get too close. I was going to put the gate up, but I think the camera will keep him, keep him in place. He won't want to go, he won't want to go past the camera. Then he sort of just checks in, like, is that okay? It stops. What's happening? Okay, so let's see if we can Rebel! I should have put that in my shirt. Rebel. Rebel. Good boy. Ooh, that's different. Sorry. That's a different kind of treat. So, do you have a hand signal for sit? Hand signal? No? Just say it?
Yeah.
Just say sit?
Why do you put your hand up, Hannah?
Oh, it's stuck. Rebel. Good boy. Okay. So I'm going to have you guys, let's see. I want him to get off the couch. I don't want him to be elevated like that. There you go. And let's see if you can ask him to sit.
Sit.
Good. Anything else? Does he lie down? Does he have any other?
He lies down. Rebel. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy.
Good.
Good boy.
So can you hold the leash? Try to keep him with you. Yep.
Come
Okay. So.
Can you sit? Can you sit?
I'm going to move some treats over here, Stephanie, just so you can get them. And when he sits, I want you to just treat him when he sits.
Can you sit?
Good. And ask him to lie down.
Lay down. Lay down. Good boy.
Good. What I'd like to do for the for the down is he lays down very sphinx-like.
Yeah.
And I want him to relax.
Okay.
I want to put his body in a relaxed position. So I'm going to talk you through it, and if we can't get it together, maybe, I don't know if he'll let me work with him or not. But as he lies down, I want you to take some of those treats and turn his head so that it turns to his shoulder.
Okay.
And then you should see his hips relax.
Okay.
And if he doesn't, I'll try to get down and work with him.
No. No.
Yep, just pull him off.
Come on.
Yep.
Can you lay down? Lay down. Oops.
That's right.
Lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
Yep, keep your hand low. Low, yes. And now turn his head either towards you, yep, that way, right to his shoulder. Very good. Give him a little treat for turning his head. Good. Good. So it's nice that he's eating, right? So even though there's cameras and strange people here and it's a strange house, he'll still eat. That's good. He's not eliminated, so that's good.
Yeah.
He's not so over threshold. And the doorway thing is pretty interesting. A lot of times dogs from the south have problems with doorways, and it's because they've not gone through a lot. So, and it's only, you said, in new places. In new places. Okay. So, Rebel. Sit. 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 So I'm going to ask him to lie down. And I'm going to turn his head, and I'm going to let him lick this liverwurst. Down. Down. And I'm trying not to lean over him too much, but I'm watching his hips. Down. Down. Good boy.
That's what he does. He's got to be touching mom.
Down. There you go. So he's turned. You see how he's really fighting it, because most dogs would flop right over. But sit. Sit. Don't let him go on the couch. Sit. Lie down. I don't care what you're on. Down. 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 Sit. Now, does he bark at you guys like that at all? Or just new people? Sit.
Occasionally, but not often.
Okay. It sounds demanding. Does it look demanding? Sit.
When you asked him to sit the first time he barked at you.
Sit. Sit.
And he's going to forward.
Sit. Rebel, sit. Sit. Rebel. I want you to work for me. Sit. Rebel. Sit. Good boy. Down. Down. Good boy. So I'll show you one more time, then I'm going to have you try it. But I want his head. It doesn't matter which shoulder it goes to, but I really want him to relax, because half it's very again, it's just one of those pieces that if we're having a difficult conversation with somebody, and your hands are folded, you feel very different. Like I just feel different when I do this, right? Mm-hmm. So, but to have my hands in my lap or someplace else makes me feel more relaxed. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's have you try that again. See if you can use your roast beef. I was using liverwurst, and he can turn either direction.
Sit. Rebel. Lay down. Lay down.
Yes, good. Give him a big piece for that.
Good boy.
Piece. Yep.
I don't allow it.
Do you need more?
Yeah. Good boy. I don't think he ate it all.
There you go.
Again?
Yep.
Rebel. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
Yes, good. Yes, give him a couple pieces for that. Good. And another one.
Good boy.
And another one. Oh. So let's keep him maybe down there for 5 treats. So I want him to have some duration, so it's not just down and up, down and up. It's down and stay there.
Lay down. Lay down.
Oh, he's getting a little better on that.
Yep, good. He's quick. So quick, fearful dogs, right? Learning is taking place all the time. And ask him again.
Lay down. Lay down.
And turn his head.
Lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
Good.
Good boy.
Good. You need more? A little bit.
Yeah.
Good. So let's ask him again.
Lay down.
Turn his head. Yes, and now give him 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have
God,
another one.
it's stuck. There you go.
Yep, and another one. And another one. I want him to get a big reinforcement for that position. Oops. Yep. So now no reinforcements until he relaxes.
Okay.
So ask him again.
Lay down. Lay down.
Good. Yes. Good. Give him another one for staying there. Good. Very good. Nice. Okay, so oops.
Okay. No. Rebel. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
Then, yes, now turn him. You can bend over now just to turn him. Good.
Good boy.
You can have a couple for doing that. Oops. Yep, that's right. Ask again.
Lay down.
And now do the hand signal. Yes, good. Now bend over to get him over. Yes. Good. Okay. So Rebel looks like to me like he makes too many decisions on his own, like to get on the couch, to not get on the couch. So where does he sleep at night?
On his couch.
Okay, so he sleeps on his couch. Don't eat the plant. You can drop the leash and let us walk around again. We'll call him back if he needs to. Yep, let him just figure it out. Don't ask him anything. I just want to see if he'll figure it. If he'll figure things out. And then when you work, is he crated? Is he loose?
He's loose.
Okay. And do you have a lot of deliveries or anything that come to the house while you're gone?
No.
Okay. Oh, a little stink pot. Just put it in my bait bag. I'm glad you like that, but no help yourself. Okay. And what kind of exercise would you say he gets in the course of a day? So he doesn't have any sort of respect for space?
No.
Like jumping all over you and torpedoing on and off?
He likes to get on you.
Right, right.
He thinks he's a lap dog.
Right, but I would like him to have more respect for your space versus his space. To, you know, come up and sit down next to you, okay, but let's not walk all the way across you and back and forth. So what kind of exercise does he get?
He was getting a lot more walks than he is now with it. I go to work in the morning and it's dark out. I come home, it's dark out. So I don't walk him as much as I was, but he gets to run around a lot.
Do you have a fenced-in yard?
Yes.
Or, okay. And how old is the other dog that he lives with?
She's
See,
4 or
that's
5.
no respect for mine. He could walk around my foot,
Yes.
and he's not.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was distracted by the
He
dragging my
has
leg
a
along.
foot fetish.
And so how old is the other dog in the house?
4 or 5.
Okay, and is he a confident dog?
Yes, she is.
She is a confident
Yes.
dog, so she goes places and...
She's almost the opposite with him. She loves people, but is terrified of other dogs, or aggressive towards other dogs. I don't know if she's but she loves people. I would say she's confident, much more confident than he is.
Yep. So was that a bark at my foot? I'm just asking you because you're sitting over there. I can't. I'm too close.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds weird, but I think he was barking at your foot.
And then did it look like he muzzle punched it?
I didn't see that.
I sort of categorized him as a pushy, fearful dog. He's pushing that. He's just walking all over Adam. He's has no problem trying to just like blow through my space. But if I get into his space, boy, he's going to have a lot to say about that, right? When I stand up, and I've been careful about when I stand up because of that. Not an unusual combination to have pushy, getting away with everything, and fearful. So part of what I'm going to have you guys do is he makes no decisions. And if you need to leave that leash on him and the collar in the house, but if he's not invited up on the couch, on your couch, he's off it.
Yeah.
And do you have a crate for him?
I do.
Okay. So if you have to do this, get off, get off, get off more than 3 times, then he's going to be timed out in his crate. So if he starts to be pushy, he's going to be timed out. He needs to, he needs this, he needs some confidence so that he doesn't have to be smashed up against things. And it's like he can, like if I'm sitting here and I'm touching you, then I can sort of look away, but I still know where you are, like my anchor. So ask him to lie down.
Lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
Good. And now you can have
2.
So there's a combination. There's some liver and there's some roast beef. If he doesn't like the liver, we'll get more roast beef because I've got plenty. Sit. Just now I'm not going to sit. 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 Sit.
Good catch.
Sit. I missed it. He'll find it. Sit. Sit. Rebel. Sit. 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 I can't tell, is it the hand? Because you don't use a hand. It's the hand motion.
He's looking at you.
But it seems to start when I use the hand motion.
That's right. Coming up over his head and threatening to him probably.
Just for fun, let's take the coat off that chair. I don't want to get up. And I want Stephanie, I want you to sit there in the chair and ask him to sit. I don't want to stand up.
Sit. Good boy.
And ask him again.
Sit. Sit. Good boy. Sit.
So I want him to sit for 3 seconds.
Sit. Oh. Sit.
Just ignore him. It's nice that he offered it, but we're working on the sit. We've changed gears. Working on sit.
Sit.
Now I want you to give him. All right, fine, go. Just stand up so he gets up. Okay. Now use a hand signal like I did and ask for the sit. Move it up. Your hand.
Sit. Do I give it to him
Yeah,
or
you can.
sit?
It just seemed like a weird response to a hand motion. You know, I asked you if he had any kind of response when you raised your hand to him.
Yeah, not us
Right.
doing it. So
Rebel, sit. Sit. So the same kind of look at me and bark?
He's looking right now.
Sit. Nobody's sitting. Sorry, my fault. Sit. 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 Don't pat him. Sit. Sit. Rebel. Sit. Look, I still have stuff. I don't know if you like that as much. Let's try this one. Sit. 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 Ask him to sit.
sit. Rebel. Sit. Sit. Rebel.
Again.
Sit. Rebel. Come here. Sit.
Now ask him to lie down.
Lay down.
Go ahead, give him the hand signal down.
Down. Lay down. Lay down.
Good. Now you can have more. Okay. So, you need to get...
Your pen.
I just wanted to lick my hand. Don't bark at it. No. So, I was just asking Duke because he's sitting further away and he doesn't have the dog barking directly in his face. It's a little easier for him to make observations. And we just brought him in a little bit closer so in terms of TV world, that everybody can possibly see what's going on. So, you know, so let's just go over. He is clearly a bite risk. There's no question in my mind that as he approaches 2, that all of this stuff that he's kind of thinking about now, and he has moved forward to me. I mean, I'm very consciously trying not to make eye contact with him, but when he gets to a certain threshold of mine, I need to give a glance. And he's clearly sort of you know, I don't know if I'd say testing the waters, but he's giving me some messages. And so what I want you guys to do is, one, if you feel bad for him, stop. There is nothing to feel bad about with this dog. He needs you to step up to the plate, as Duke was saying, with leadership. And we'll go over all this stuff now. He makes no decisions from this second forward, none. Everything is going to come from the two of you. And somehow we need to get him trained, which it doesn't sound like there's any classes or anything in your area, and most people wouldn't let him in anyway because of his breed and his behavior and all that stuff. I want him on a gentle leader. I'll see if I have any that I can send home with you. Are you familiar with gentle leaders? Yes. Okay. He needs to be on that. And he might need to be on in the house if you can't keep him off the furniture and stuff. Okay. He needs to get out, and the exercise has to be bumped up, however that can happen. I know it's dark, but if you can go out, you know, a headlamp, or if you can take him out, or if you can take him out together or something, but he absolutely needs to go out more. Just because some of that anxiety and stuff has to get out, and exercise is a good way to have that happen. Duke, say again what you were saying about the, you know, clearly fear-based, but there's this energy of moving around and checking in with everybody, and you're
trying to control the circumstances, you know, the environment. Anybody moves, your hand goes over his head, it's not appropriate, this isn't right, and trying to up the game, you know, because first it was the barking, and then he started moving forward on Denise, and then the last time he did a little bit. Everybody knows. So he's trying to keep up the game. I'm the boss here, and that's pretty much. But have the confidence that he's to be leader, you know. So it's and then maybe not, maybe not. So a very strong leader, I think, really needs, and we'll discuss about what you may see when you try leadership.
Right, because he may challenge you. Have you ever felt, I would say, weird or threatened or concerned with him? Either one of you, when you've asked him to do something? No. So ask him to sit, so just don't let him bark at Duke.
Sit.
Duke's not doing anything bark-worthy. And ask him to lie down again.
Lay down. Lay down.
Ever at all feel weird around him? Or
you mean like threaten, like he would?
Yeah, sometimes it happens very subtly, and you subtly change your behavior.
With him, honestly, no.
Okay. And no, Adam?
When he barked like that, I figured he was to get what he wanted. That it was very demanding.
Yeah, it's very demanding. And so just sort of watch for that, because you're going to change the rules of the game on him. And the game has been for him that he does anything he wants and he makes all the decisions, which is, you know, that's not unusual. I mean, a lot of people have dogs that only know sit, right? But they're not a pity, and they're not giving the kind of warning cues that he's giving about what he's thinking about. I mean, to bark at my foot, that whole thing was kind of strange too, and I'll be interested to look at the tapes, because then I can really see what's happening.
Adam never answered the question if he felt threatened.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I interrupted too. Sorry. Go ahead.
Only not really, but sometimes if he starts getting playful, sometimes I think he might get a little too rough.
So he gets hyper aroused and doesn't really stop.
He gets a little too
with you.
Too rough
yeah,
sometimes.
not with me.
Okay. And that is a characteristic of a pity that we need to be watching for, is his hyper arousal. And we saw a little bit of it here, and for no other reason than maybe Duke started to talk or Ernie walked, and he started that barking and then running around. So sometimes I like to play tug with dogs to help get that energy out, but I'm not going to suggest that with him, because I don't want him to use his mouth, and I don't want him to practice biting and holding anything. Okay, so when you play with him, Adam, how do you play with him? I mean, do you just kind of, you know, body handle him, or?
Oh, some like if just kind of running around or something, and he'll jump up, and I don't really push him around.
Usually you've had the ball when he was playing fetch.
Yeah, throwing the ball around, and then
And does that
running around? You got the ball. It seems like sometimes he'll jump up and.
Does that bring up the hyperarousal? The ball playing?
Yeah. Well,
but see, with you, not with me.
Well, I don't know. He just.
Okay.
He holds on to it almost to keep it from him, whereas I don't. I just throw it back and forth. He goes and gets it. He brings it back. He'll drop it. I throw it again. Whereas he'll hold on to it and turn, like
So
to
you'll
keep
hold
it
the
from
ball.
him.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
But then that's when he starts to get demanding, or is that when he gets hyper
That's when he
aroused?
does that, is that when you have it
so
and you won't give it to him.
Up in the game, it's his ball.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just trying to. I mean, we're talking and we're taping, and I'm trying to process so much information on how I can teach you what he needs to be taught. But I'm not going to get up and work with him at this point because he doesn't have. He should have a relationship with me because I've been feeding him a lot of really good stuff. But when I don't, is when you see that barking, moving forward things start to come into play. So if ball playing is something that he likes to do, then we're going to use that as part of his training, and he needs to sit and be quiet before you throw the ball. So you play by his rules, and you don't, which is fine. I don't want you to play by his rules. I want you guys to decide what the rules are. And so he needs a lot of impulse control, which is, if we can get him through the doors, right, then he's going to start to wait for the doors. When you feed him, he needs to sit or lie down and wait until you give him permission to eat. When you throw the ball, he needs to sit or lie down and not be barking at you before you throw the ball. Barking is going to get him nothing from either of you. And you can see now he's struggled and fought quite a bit when he first came back in to either get to Adam or to get on the couch, and you were consistent with it, and so now he's just chilled, and he doesn't have to be touching anybody at the moment, right? So he's a little bit calmer. I don't have a crystal ball that's going to tell us that
Lay down.
putting all of this time and energy and training into him, it's definitely going to help. It's going to be about the consistency that you guys have, but in the back of your mind, I really want you to be aware that he is potentially, there's no question, he's a bite risk. There just isn't. And what's unusual with pitties is in the modern age of pit bulls, there's this street fighting and there's, some underground organized fighting. And they screen out very selectively the dogs that are people aggressive. Because in a fight ring, they need to be able to go in and remove their dog without any concerns about themselves at all. And so he's the opposite. He loves dogs, but he's not so sure about people. And people just being the scared thing. Okay. So I'm still not quite sure to get him, to teach him to touch. He needs a solid sit, a solid relaxed down. What else would you think about?
A lot of impulse control, waiting for anything that's going to come to him that's good. It's going to have to be in control of you guys. And I think that you'll see his confidence build as soon as he sees your leadership go up, because then he's got somebody to follow. Even coming through doorways like, well, I'm the leader, I'm supposed to be here through first. But the fact is, I'm really scared to death of it. That's why he keeps checking into you, keep checking into you. A lot of alternative behaviors. Every alternative behavior you could probably get him to do, would help him.
I mean, like a sit or a down or a touch or
stands, touch, leave it, anything to get him thinking, and then the leadership skills from you guys.
Right.
He's always going to be, I think, a level of fear in him and always have that potential. But every dog has the potential to play put in the right circumstance.
Rebel.
Right. He just has more things stacked against him.
Sit.
Right. So I'd definitely go for a name change. Whatever you want that to be.
I don't know if you like this, Denise, or not, but personally, I would do a lot of the marker words or a clicker and release words.
Sit.
Like he's breaking the sits, he's breaking the downs, and on his own, and that's him thinking again, oh, well, I've been here long enough, and the treats ain't coming fast enough, so see ya.
Right. Yep. Yeah, but now I'm trying to.
Rebel. Sit.
Attention would be
Sit. Sit.
for me.
Right. Exactly.
Rebel.
That's exactly the problem.
Sit.
Can we
Sit.
Can we pause again, because I want to get a gentle leader on him before I do anything. Today on Doggy Dilemmas, we met a dog named Rebel, a 1-year-old pit mix with some pretty serious fear issues. And what makes his fear issues more serious than any dog we've seen so far is his ability to set his fear aside and approach me for the food, to lick my hand, and then to run away again. It would be much safer and much better if he just stayed away. He can bark all he wants, but if he would just stay away. And the example I want to give you in human terms is how much money is worth your risking crossing railroad tracks, or if there was a bag of money on the railroad tracks, would you risk, you know, if you could see the train coming, would you risk going to get it or would you not? And it would be better if you did not, right? I mean, it would just be safer to stay away. So the fact that a 1-year-old, and his breed is significant because there's a lot of breed bias against pit mixes. So the fact that he'll come and approach and then run away again, it makes him a high-risk dog. And Adam and Stephanie are going to have to do a lot of management. He could be a very lovely dog in their home, always being put away when guests come over. He's not going to be the social butterfly dog. Pharmacology, putting him on some medication may be an answer to help him reduce that anxiety. Most aggression has a root in anxiety, and he clearly has some stress and anxiety going on. But that would be up to a vet to decide, not for me to decide. But it is an option. It is an option given his issues. So I look forward to seeing you next week, where we will wrap up Rebel in part 2 of Doggy Dilemmas.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.